Okay, so you saw the cash shorten over. Let's keep going. Cash receipts by mail. So what normally happens is you have your receptionist, a secretary, open up and log in all of the receipts that come in by mail. Then those receipts are delivered to somebody that puts them all together, and then they make a deposit and they take them down to the bank. That bank deposit is then the accountant will reconcile who is paid. They'll verify what came in the mail to what was deposited, and everything will be fine. Keys to controlling require all payments to be made by check or for electronic fund transfer. Limit access to accounting records except for those who have the authority to sign checks. That one's kind of hard because like I never gave myself the authority to sign checks, but I needed access. So I just kind of kept that separate, again, just kind of like keeping just kind of keeping it keeping that segregation of duties there. Okay. A voucher system establishes procedures. This is like purchase orders. Okay, so here's the voucher system of control. And these are just different ways you can do it. I know in my world, this is what I would do. I would try not to cough. Okay, so I would get a requisition request, and they would say, I need 10 tires for whatever reason. And so in there, I would go ahead, I get that requisition request, I would create a purchase order. I would have the boss sign it, saying, okay, yeah, that's a good thing. And so right now I've got a copy of a purchase order and I've got a copy of requisition. I give one of the copies of the purchase orders to the person who's going to go down and buy the goods. So they go down and buy the goods. They're going to have a bill of lading, which tells me exactly what they picked up. I'm going to compare that to the purchase order and the requisition request. If it's true and correct, I'm going to put it behind. Sometimes if they have to enter in the data into the computer, you might get a receiving report. That's internal. Then I'm going to get an invoice. And so then I'm going to double check the invoice to make sure everything matches against my purchase order, my bill of lading, and my requisition. Then after that invoice, I'm going to write on it and I'm going to put exactly, how I posted, what GL accounts I posted it to. And I'm going to put my name in there that I'm the one who entered this into the system and so on and on what date. So I'm going to have that. Now they mentioned the receiving report, and that's fine. Okay, so then I'm going to go in, I'm going to look at all my payables and I'm going to create a report that says these are all the payables I think we should pay. And let's pretend this invoice that I'm working on is one of them. And so I'm going to have that ready with all of that backup, that requisition request, the purchase order, the bill of lading, the invoice, and all of this accounts payable that I'm going to pay. I'm going to have that all clipped together, ready to go. And then my boss is going to he's going to look through it. He's going to give me approval to print the checks. I'm going to go and print the checks. I'm going to attach them to all that documentation. I'm going to keep one of the remittance statements, attach it to all my documentation. On that remittance statement, I'm going to write down when it was mailed out, and I'm going to file it away for now. And of course, I'm going to email or I'm going to mail out that check. Then a little bit later, when the bank reconciliation comes through, I'm going to look at that check, and on that remittance statement, I'm going to write when that check cleared the bank account. Trust me, the auditors want to see all of this, okay? It just makes it a whole lot easier if you're automatically tying things back to where we can verify the data so that the auditors or yourself, you're not spending a whole lot of time looking everything up. Okay, petty cash. I like to call petty cash lunch money because it's not the shipping, minor repairs, low cost and supplies that gets charged to petty cash. It's lunch. Never fails. This is what happens. Hey, you want to work your way through lunch? I got a lot to do. Yeah, I got a lot to do too. Yeah, let's go ahead and work through lunch. You know what we'll do? We'll go get some money out of petty cash and we'll have the company buy us lunch. That sounds good. Meters? Sure, let's do meters. Okay, there you go. That's typically what happens. Petty cash is one of the most abused systems there is. Yes, sometimes it's needed, but boy, is it taken advantage of. I can't tell you how many times the boss, the owner of the company would come in, and they have the right to do this. They would come in and they would say, I need $300 out of the petty cash because I'm taking so and so to lunch, or I'm doing so and such with so and so. And so I'd have to do it. And so I'd have to keep detailed records on who took what. Okay. So here we're going to establish a petty cash fund. So I'm going to debit my petty cash, which is a cash or cash equivalents, and I'm going to credit my cash. Then here's all of my receipts. So I've got, looks like I bought some things, some office supplies, some delivering, tile cleaning. So I spent $71.30. So I got $71.30 of receipts. Well, how much dollars do I have left in that petty cash? I should have $3.70 left. If I don't, I'm either short or over. In another textbook, they have a short $3. And so I always joke around that somebody they went and took $3 out to go buy themselves a soda, and they forgot to put the receipt back into the system. So anyhow, it happens all the time. I cannot tell you how many times I have chased somebody around because I'm missing receipts for my petty cash. It's 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 the nemesis. That's just all there is to it. Okay. So here we are to increase petty cash, to decrease petty cash. They don't say to reimburse petty cash. Oh, here we go. We have one that's a short and over. And you can look at those on your own as well. And so basic bank services, signature cards. I can't tell you how many times I had to get that taken care of. Deposit tickets, bank statements, electronic. Okay. Deposit tickets, they don't do a whole lot anymore. You've got to go in and they give you a printout of something. Checks, bank accounts, EFT. Okay. So here is a deposit ticket. Again, like I said, they don't do this anymore, at least not at my bank. Because of COVID, for whatever reasons, they changed their mind on this stuff. So that's kind of what is happening here. But anyhow, so if it was me, yeah, I would have a deposit ticket and I would list every single person. Now, in my world, this is what mine looked like. So many, many moons ago, working retail, I would get really angry. It didn't take much. And I got angry because I couldn't figure out why people didn't know how to add. And so I thought in my head, I'm going to make it so they don't have to add. And so I created, and this isn't it, but it's something that's going to be similar, and I'm going to point it out to you. And coins, and then I would have my dollars. And I would go 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. Okay, I'd stop right there. Okay, and then I would list all my checks. And so what I would do is I would give everybody this information here. Make this pretty. I can't stand when things don't look pretty. And so what I would do after that is this would be the number, and this would be my subtotal. And so they'd have to count the pennies. And they'd have to go through and they'd have to count all of these up. Because I found that if I asked them to add 20 plus 20, they couldn't figure it out. So let's say they had 20 of these, 10 of these, 30 of these, 40 of these, and 10 of these. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So I would just basically ask them to count up how much they had of each of these denominations. And we just told they would total up for them because I could not trust them to count cash. And so there would be my cash total. And then what I would do right here, so I'm gonna say 1717, and let me say I'm gonna put Jones in here, and then I'm gonna put 3,500. And so then I would have them list the checks separately. And this deposit sheet, and it looked a whole lot, okay, right now it doesn't look as pretty as it does in the real world, but it looked a whole lot prettier, was really easy. Once I implemented this, when the only thing I had my cashiers doing was counting the number of the denominations, they stopped coming up short and over, and they stopped having mathematical issues with their counting. And I they would they would put this in there in my deposit. And so I would have this for my deposit along with the receipt for my deposit that was made in the morning. And I could verify the two to double check and make sure everything was true and correct to the best of my knowledge. That is the best way to do it for your deposits. Okay. Here, used to withdraw money from the bank account. Again, they use the same documents to withdraw money from the bank account as they do to deposit. And so normally you're not going to pull money out of the bank account very often, but you might. Here's my bank statement. This is not a very good bank statement, but it is what you're going to see on a bank statement. You're going to see beginning balance, you're going to see ending balance, you're going to see how many checks cleared, how many EFT transactions cleared, and you're going to see what's going on with your deposits and any other type of transactions. And then it's going to give you a total. So what you need to do is now we're talking about doing a bank reconciliation. So actually, I think I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to start another one.